Now let's jump into turmeric. I did want to talk to you because you have a really interesting perspective. Obviously kind of growing up, with your grandmother's influence and looking at different herbs and especially India really being the centerpiece in the world for turmeric. I just want you to talk a little bit about the turmeric found in India, why Hawaii turmeric is so good, and everything else in between, just as an industry as a whole. Because I know a lot of people, they're looking at Costco, they're looking at their natural health food store, they're looking at just, getting turmeric however they can, but how do they decide which one to take? And does it really actually work better? And I know that people are really up on, okay, hey, I heard that turmeric from India has a lot of lead in it. Is that true? Does it go into like these huge batches that they talk about, or are you able to source, specific Indian turmeric that doesn't get, sourced with all those other ones? So I think that's very confusing on a consumer level. So yeah, if you can shed some light on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, and this is much easier to show in a chart, which I can show you later.
Yeah.
But basically, turmeric that's coming out of India, you don't know who the farmer is, who the grower is. You never have that face to face of knowing who they are because of the way that the spice market is over there. Turmeric. First of all, the turmeric in India typically gets boiled before they dehydrate it, and that's something that most people don't know. So it gets boiled and then dried whole, so maybe dried outdoors. The roots are dried in whole pieces, and then they go to spice markets. So people will buy them from the spice markets, the buyers will buy them from the spice markets. And from there, they go all around the world from the spice markets. So they could end up in a warehouse in Australia or Europe or in the US or China or wherever. Yeah. And then at some point, these will get milled into powder or extracted or whatever their end use is going to be, but typically they'll get milled into powder. So a couple of things. One is the turmeric you're getting is never a single source turmeric like ours is. We have ours is single estate.
And sorry, could you just real quick go into the boiling point? I know some people, you mentioned boiling, they say, well, if we boil potatoes and things like that, why it's bad. But, I think inherently people kind of understand that you're probably losing something. But if you can talk about that.
Yeah, you do lose. You do lose quite a bit when you boil it. I mean, it just, a lot of the nutrients will come out in the water, and we really don't know how long they're boiling it, or there's not really a lot of consistency or standardization in that process. So yeah, you do lose a lot of the nutrients and enzymes when you cook a product at high heat like that. So boiling is a standard way to do it, and the reason why they boil it, as I understand, is to so that they'll dry evenly. Otherwise, the root, if you don't boil it and you're going to dry it whole, will be still moist on the inside and dry from the outside. And then you could have problems with mold or mildew or something. So boiling it is kind of a remediation for mold and mildew and destruction of the crop. But, that's how it's done. And that's how it's been done for, who knows, definitely hundreds of years. Because they don't have the kind of equipment that we have on site to process it. So anyway, that's that's all.
Yeah. No, definitely, and I think that's important for people to understand, especially when you're paying a lot for either a supplement or something else that you really do want it to work for you, right? So you want to get your the best bang for your buck in a sense. Let's talk about your turmeric. You have Hawaiian grown turmeric products. Yeah, and I know that you have some there to show us, but yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, well, the other point, I mean, boiling is the one kind of thing that is a really distinction, but the other thing that's a distinction is the age of the product, because as I mentioned, these whole roots or these dried powders or whatever are going all around the world, and then they might sit in a distribution center or a warehouse somewhere until they get sold and resold down the line to eventually to some supplement manufacturer or some spice manufacturer. And then so by the time you get your turmeric in your hand, it could be 2 or 3 years old, or who knows how long actually.
Yeah, wow.
And then there's very, very little organic farming in Asia. There are organic turmerics out there, but it's relatively a small amount even today, because of the way that these different batches are combined and sold from different sources. So that's an important distinction when we talk about our Hawaiian turmeric, because one, it's single estate. All of our turmeric is coming from one farm, from one farmer, and then it goes to me, and then I process it and turn it into in extract, powder, or tea, whatever. So there doesn't.
That's awesome. Can you hold up that tea for everybody to take a look at? So this has been on the market for how long?
Just a month.
Yeah, so you guys, this is new. This is kind of maybe an exclusive here.
Yeah, Steve knows I've been working on this for the better part of this year. We started working on this early in the year, and it took me quite a while to get all the organic certifications and things like that. So anyway, yeah, it's just been out for a month, so this is brand new.
That's awesome, and that is a powder. This is
a powder. This is red turmeric. We also do yellow turmeric. So yellow turmeric is the kind of thing that you find usually.
Yeah. And you know what? Can you just tell everybody, because I know that a lot of people don't get so granular with turmeric, you know, in a sense, they just think of turmeric as turmeric, but just let everybody know like how many different species of turmeric there are, and like the different ones. I mean, we've talked about them previously, but I think it's so cool. I never knew.
Yeah, there are different varieties of turmeric, and turmeric is, it's been in human use for thousands of years, at least 6,000 years, and that's just written history that we know of it. So yeah, there are different varieties of turmeric, but the most common one is the yellow turmeric, or it's called Indra turmeric, or yellow. That's the one that we just call turmeric.
And that's the one that you'll find, like if you go to an Indian restaurant or something, is that the one that you'll find in most, like 95% of the restaurants?
Exactly. And it wasn't until recently, the last 4 or 5 years, that I even knew that there were different types of turmeric. But the thing that's fascinating is that there are the different colors of turmeric, not just the different species of them, but different colors of them, which is so interesting. And now we're growing in our garden, at least 5 different colors of turmeric. So we're growing the yellow, of course. We're growing this Hawaiian red, which we're going to talk about. We're growing the black and green and a white turmeric. And so it's really a rainbow now.
Wow, that's awesome.
And they all have different properties. The one property that is most studied and most people know and associate with turmeric is curcumin. And so curcumin is what is believed to be the anti-inflammatory factor in the turmeric plant. And what is very special about this Hawaiian red turmeric is that it has tested consistently to be 4 to 5 times the amount of curcumin as your typical yellow turmeric. So it naturally out of the ground will have 14 to 17% curcumin, whereas a yellow turmeric will have about 3, maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do you think, just hypothetically, if there was a yellow turmeric brought in from somewhere else and just you took that same species, threw it in the soil in Hawaii, do you think naturally that it would probably start developing higher curcumin levels? Or
we've done that actually, and I tested it. So I had yellow turmeric from Hawaii, and we sent it out for testing, and it was about 4%, so a little bit higher. Yeah, a little bit higher than what we typically see in the 3% range. We had 4%. But what these
so this is a plant that came from somewhere else, and then you put it in Hawaiian soil?
No, we don't know. No, I don't know that it came from somewhere else. I just know that it was yellow turmeric that was grown organically in Hawaii.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, all of these came from somewhere else. Turmeric was a canoe plant. For those of you who know, what canoe plants are, they're the plants that Polynesians brought with them when they initially established themselves in Hawaii. So taro, ginger. But anyway, yeah, turmeric was one of those that were considered essential to their survival. So they can only bring a handful of plants, about a dozen. We don't know exactly how many, but that was one of the ones that they considered essential to their survival, and they brought it to Hawaii.